Hey lovies, this is Michelle here at Life Mantra Tarot. Happy Monday. Hope that you guys are all doing great. I hope that you guys had a nice weekend. I hope that you guys, if you guys are planning on, celebrating the holiday season, I hope that so far it's been bringing you a lot of joy and delight, um, so on and so forth. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you like what you see here and decide to stick around and, see what the channel has to offer. And if this message doesn't resonate with you, I hope that you at least try to look at some other hey queen, it's been a while, how are you? Nice to see you. Yeah, so if like I said, if you, hey babe. Hoping that like I said, the holiday season is finding you guys well and all that good stuff. And again, if you're new to the channel, I hope that you like what you see here. Stick around, check out other content, so on and so forth. And for those of you who have already been rocking with your girl for a bit, welcome back and thank you for the continued support. So with all that said, this is just a general energy check-in to see what's going on with you guys. I checked in a few days ago. And that was a pretty cool reading. If you guys want to go check that out. Um, yeah, so I'm kind of proud of myself for kind of getting back into the swing of things because like I've been slowly getting back on here more frequently, like 2 to 3 times a week. So, slow movement is better than no movement, right? Getting there. um, Aw, hey sis. I miss you. So yeah, like I said, I'm happy that you guys are here. I'm not gonna babble on too much, right? Let's get to the point. So like I said, this is just a general energy check-in. I did feel connected to some energy before I even like pulled any cards or anything. Like I felt drawn to certain decks. I do feel like there might be a little bit of hint of love in this message, but I also feel like there's gonna be some career finance stuff. I feel it. So I'm gonna start with the Ascending Life Oracle deck here and kind of see what the energy is looking like and go based off of that. So without further ado, let's do a few shuffles. Spirit, only let positive energy into this reading for the collective. Show the collective what they need to see at this time for their highest good. Clearest and most accurate messages, please and thank you. Let's see what's going on. All right, so when we split the deck, we have 2 cards showing up. We have the Phoenix, rising from the ashes, being offered a second chance, the end of despair, what was lost being restored, and we also have third party. Interesting. Others interfering in your business, possible love triangle, too many people involved, someone is watching you. Interesting. Now that Phoenix card, interestingly enough, which is again so like kind of like this, uprising energy, right? Coming up from the ashes, working on yourself, healing, so on and so forth. Um, I do find it interesting that it was in the reverse in the deck. So there could be like a third party interference that's causing maybe a delay when it comes to that, possibly. That's just from splitting the deck, so I'm not sure where it's going just yet. So let's see what's going on. Again, Spirit, clear some most accurate messages, please, and thank you for the collective. What do they need to know at this time for their highest good? I do see brick wall here too, but it's in the reverse. It's almost like there's some roadblocks that have been around and causing some delays, but they're about to start maybe lifting. So let's just see what's going on. One more shuffle. All right. All right. So we have dreams. It says, vivid dreaming, dream messages, reaching for your dreams. Your dreams are calling you, the power of imagination. So you might be having really, really like vivid, crazy dreams, like lucid dreaming and stuff like that. Um, Let me know in the comment section if that makes any sense. Um, Interesting. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I'm a little bit behind on your readings, my love, but you're my girl, and I always want to check those readings out because they're always so informative. And 9 times out of 10, I resonate with them things. So it's very rare that I don't. But yeah, so I'm getting that some of you guys again are having like some interesting dreams and stuff, or it could be about aspirations too. I just heard aspirations, dreams and aspirations, trying to like, again, we were talking about kind of like roadblocks, right? Situations, circumstances, people that might be kind of causing hindrances there. So let's see what else is going on. We didn't even pull any cards yet, but we're getting some messages. So let's see what's going on with you guys. So let's get some clear, accurate messages for the collective. I just see my cat over here. She is chilling. She's knocked out. She looks so cute. Right, wow. Okay, we have 3 different cards that came out together. So we're going to take all of them. So we have the Star. Wish fulfillment, blessings, wealth, and fame, becoming quite popular, brand new, and hopeful life. So that's the first card out, and it came out along with the World. Completion of a major milestone, fulfillment, time and success, broadening your horizons, end of a journey. Okay, I'm liking this so far. And up in the air, not knowing where you stand, situation, decision still undecided, uncertain about something and lacking stability. So I'm getting that, there were some major setbacks at some point because we did pick up on like some type of hindrances or something. And like just from me shuffling. And the cards that kept on kind of showing up over and over as I was shuffling. So I feel like you guys are like working past those roadblocks and hindrances, closing out old cycles that no longer serve you, so on and so forth. Yeah, there are new opportunities presenting themselves. So we have Pink Diamond here, says a rare opportunity or find, one of a kind love, I like that, unique creative expression, and wealthy prosperity. So getting something about that. Yeah, there are these new opportunities getting ready to present themselves. This is interesting. I didn't see this coming. Reconciliation, restoration of former connections, apologies and forgiveness, trying again in a different way, and conversations. I just heard a truce. Maybe some of you guys are gonna like kind of have a truce with something, or like I'm getting like acceptance, like accepting something for what it is. So like let's say it's not like an actual, because I read the way I read is more I connect with the cards and like I look at the meanings, but then I might see something else or pick up on something that's not necessarily in the description of the card itself. So I'm kind of getting like there could be something more like I just heard absolve, like there's resolutions happening. There's connections that that need to be severed, kind of calling a spade, letting it go amicably, not worried about it. I love you too. Love and miss you. Um, so yeah, I'm getting something like that as opposed to like it being like an actual reconciliation. So like, or it could, for some of you, it could be. I mean, it could be like there was like something that was keeping you and another person distant from each other, and maybe you guys were going through different things, and now those things are coming to an end, and that allows for you guys to come back into connection. Like I'm picking up on a lot of different messages there. We have fluidity here, staying flexible and adaptable, keeping an open mind, going with the flow, and being teachable. So this was a teachable moment for you guys as we worked on clearing out this space and closing out that cycle. Tell us more. Tell us more. What does the collective need to know at this time for their highest good? Ooh, okay. All right, so we have renewal here. This is kind of going back to like that Phoenix card that we saw initially, right? Powerful inner transformation. I like that. Leave old flames, embrace the new, release of energy and emotions. Exactly. Playing with fire. Some of you guys might even be doing like fire magic. Let me know if that resonates. Maybe during like moon cycles and things like that, might be doing like rituals and things of that nature. We also have good health here, changing nutrition habits, setting up a workout program, work-life balance, routine checkups at the doctor. I myself know I need to go to the doctor and I need to do it ASAP. Um, so that's sticking out like a sore thumb to me. Yeah, and see third party. See, there's this interference, and that interference is what's preventing or has prevented you. I feel like you're getting out of this energy, but it has at some point or another prevented you from having good health. You might your physical health, or your even like your Hey, she is. What's up? Hey, Solo. How are you? Loving to see like people who are repeated, watchers popping in, and I love seeing new folks as well. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, it's giving me like there were like again these blockages, right? Hindrances that kind of kept you from being in like good spirits, and I heard health as well. It's like feeling like your physical and mental health might have been waning because of certain types of energy that was around you, but you're closing out those cycles. Leadership, high influence in business, stepping into a leadership role. You know your value and your self-worth, and using logic over emotions. You're taking ownership over your life. Hi, Miriam. How are you? Yeah, you're taking leadership over your life, and that's allowing for this renewal to take place, right? Closing out those old cycles. For some of you, take it as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. But for some of you, this might have had to do with a marriage or a long term relationship. We do have marriage here in the middle of the deck. Attracting a long term partner, marriage life, attracted to a married person, and new partner may be divorced. Here in the middle, it's gonna be different for everybody. So take the messages as they resonate, like I said before. But yes, like for some of you, you might have had to end a connection of some sort that allowed for you to work on this growth. Um, Tell us more. And or for others, I'm also picking up on because of the fact that you've allowed for that severance of ties to the things from the past that no longer serve you. You've been able to work on yourself, or you're about to work on yourself, and really, I'm hearing glow up. I'm hearing glow up, and that's going to allow like for space to be created for something new, which is nice. For some of you, this could be like really, really recent, and for others, it could be, slightly past energy. It's a lot of stuff going on, right? So again, like everybody's going through different things. Yeah, I'm happy he's nothing like John. Now we need to talk, girl. um, Tell us more. All of a sudden, I got super hungry. Are you guys hungry? I mean, it's like dinner time for some folks, depending on where you see. Reconciliation keeps coming up. Now it's officially on the spread. So I'm like, again, I'm getting like this energy of like, if it's not an actual reconciliation, it could just be again kind of being amicable with a person who is in your energy and still kind of lingering around. It doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. It could just be somebody who you were on bad terms with, and maybe working on rebuilding, or at least being at a point where you're both mature enough to say, okay, this relationship is not serving either one of us, so let's move on from it. Like I'm getting something like that. We have the unseen here on the bottom. It says working behind the scenes, not seeing the full picture, the blessings you don't see, magic happening behind the scenes. Top of the deck, we have, wow. So we have the unseen and the hidden. Wow. What the heck? The hidden, it says, hidden enemies and jealousy, hiding true intentions, being two-faced, time to work in silence. So it's like there are things happening to what I'm getting here. It's like there's things happening behind the scenes that like are, I'm getting like, divine timing and stuff like that. Fate, things that are meant to happen a certain way. But then at the same time, there could be like, these like not so positive things happening behind the scenes too, and it's a warning. They just letting you know you don't see it, so they want you to just know like some people might have like a certain intention to try to come back into your energy. And I'm getting like there's like this sense of protection around you, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, for some of you it could even be about a friend. um it says friendships, attracting new friends, changes in friendships, spending more time with friends, letting go of toxic friends. Yes. So it's like it could be even like for some of you, it could be a friend trying to come back. Sorry, you guys hear the buzzing. Um, Yeah, like it could be, a toxic friend trying to come back around, and you're kind of seeing them for what they really are, even though they're trying to come back into your good graces and, be friends with you. Like I'm getting a lot of different messages. A lot of different messages coming through. Let's get like two or three more from this deck, and then we're gonna move on to another. Here's the most accurate messages for the collective. If you guys are resonating, let me know in the comments or let me know with reactions. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And if you're new, I would greatly appreciate you guys subscribing. Trying to build up this channel slowly but surely. Trying to get to 500 subscribers. I know that that's going to also take some more, what's what I'm looking for? I heard the word predictability. Like I need to have a predictable schedule, right? And be consistent on here so people know when I'm on. Like I just randomly pop up and people be like, oh shit, I'm watching somebody else's reading right now. And I'm like, it's fine. No problem. But yeah, we have two cards that came out. It says Between Worlds. Torn, yeah, see, and that's the thing. Like there's like that, I heard threshold. Like there's like a threshold there, this line that has to be kind of crossed in order for you to go towards this, like going towards the light. It's like you know that there are all these things from the past, the darker things that you have to leave behind. You see this light at the end of the tunnel. That's what my last reading was about, like that light at the end of the tunnel, and feeling motivated about that. But there are things that need to happen first to get there. So we have Between Worlds, torn between two paths, space between the old and the new, exactly. Trying to balance your two lives in transition. So this is a transitional period for a lot of you guys. And because of that, it does cause like a rift, right? Like a rift between, you and other people and energies, you even within yourself. And I think that's why we have isolation here. It came out along with Between Worlds. Being emotionally removed, choosing to be alone, recharging your mind and your body in introspection. So this is about you taking time to focus on self. Understanding that sometimes, again, you have to kind of call a spade when you know a relationship isn't going anywhere. Doesn't necessarily mean you're on bad terms with the person or anything like that, but you just know like what's done is done. In order to work on your physical and mental health, you have to leave those things behind. And these are the things necessary in order for you to kind of, I heard the word catapult you into what's coming up next. Bottom of the deck, we do have travel, long distance travel, wanting to escape a new adventure, a journey to the next level. Exactly. Leveling up, right? Moving on. Onward and upward. Let's get one more from here. Very interesting so far. I like it. In single life, okay, we are living single. Ooh, in a 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girls. We have living your best single life, working on yourself, becoming more self-reliant, not settling for a bad match. For those of you who are resonating with the idea of this is more romantic based, um, yeah, you're living your best life, being single, and like you're realizing, okay, this is actually kind of nice. Like I don't need to have nobody, man or woman, whatever, like up in my space, up in my face, causing me all this grief and shit. Like I'm good where I'm at. You know what I mean? And being in that energy is not a bad thing. Nothing wrong with it at all. Especially like if you do eventually want to be in a relationship, you have to kind of go through that period of being single and doing your own things. A little bit of self isolation to focus on self and grow, right? So that you can be ready for the right partner when that person comes around. Um, so I like it. I do a lot. And we have unfinished here, leaving things unfinished, tying up loose ends, things left unresolved, and seeing things through. So there might be something again that's kind of, happening behind the scenes for some of you. Take it as it resonates, like that, in order to be fully single, like on paper. So I heard on paper. You might have to fully sever ties with a situation or a person or something. Like let's say if it was marriage, right? You know, maybe a divorce being finalized, or this could, for some of you, this is past energy. Some of you, this is happening currently. Take the messages as they resonate. Um, but there's something that has to happen first in order for you to really fully enjoy that. I'm even getting, for some of you, it's more like a severance of ties in the sense of like karmic ties. So like, let's say that person's energy still lingers, right? You could have not been done with this person for years, but if that person's energy is still in your energy, like you have to sever those ties. So you might have to do a cord cutting ritual and things like that to fully, free yourself from that. I just heard Fantasia, free yourself. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself. Like I just heard that. So let me know if it resonates. But it's giving me something like that. There could be other things that keep you bound to a person too. If there's kids involved, like, definitely just depends on your circumstances. Everybody's going through different things. So, um, I'm definitely hearing, like, I keep hearing documentation, documents. I keep hearing that very strongly. So, like, I feel like there might be something that needs to be signed in order for there to be a complete closure to a situation, in order for you to fully move on from something or someone. Again, it's gonna be different for everybody, so take the messages as look. We have boredom too. Like, at first, I thought that said freedom. It says boredom, but it's like it was in the reverse, and it's like it says bored of daily routine, wanting more out of life, longing for change. Exactly, longing for change and constrained by circumstances. But it was in the reverse on the top of the deck. So it's like it's giving me this energy of like, you know that you feel confined by whatever those circumstances are that have been left unfinished for some of you, and you're like, I'm over this shit. Like, I'm done. I don't want this situation like hanging over my head anymore. I have to move on. So, and this might even increase your finances or involve finances. Financial issues are a factor. Trying to generate more income, good, bad financial choices or changes. I said choices, but it says changes, and clearing debts. So there could be like these, and remember I said even karmic debt, right? Like there could be some karmic debt that is still kind of lingering that affects you in many different ways. So let me know if any of this is resonating so far, because like, and ironically enough, I did bring out the current life deck. So I'm picking up on so many different energies. Like I have these decks over here next to me that I felt connected to before I started, and now I'm like, whoa, where to go? I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm taking this sweater off. So bear with me. Yeah. I knew I was gonna get hot for some reason. I just felt it. Like I was cold earlier, now like I'm hot. Like I had a whole freaking like hoodie on and everything in the house, and now I'm like warmed up. Like I feel like my body feels like hot to the touch a little bit. All right, so let's see. Where do we want to go from here? I think just to get a little more insight, because like I said, everybody's going through different things. I think I want to pull from this deck that like I haven't really been reading from as much lately, but I read from it the other day and it had some really, really good messages and really meaningful ones. So I feel connected to them again. I just heard why the cage bird sings, and the reason why is because the card that's here in the middle of the deck, when I split it, we have birdcage, possessive, codependent, cling, restlessness. Sorry, restless. Let's say restlessness. Oblivious, controlled, sing anyway, want freedom. And remember, I said I heard freedom. I heard freedom and saw freedom from one of the cards, but it actually said boredom. But I heard and saw freedom for some reason, even though that's not what it said on the card. But yeah, it says wants freedom, without consent, dominion, watched, hostage, confined, and I did say something. I think I did mention like feeling confined by your circumstances, trapped, and predator. So like some of you guys might be feeling like you're stuck in a situation, possibly when it comes to like someone you might even live with or lived with. It might have something to do with a home. Um, like either like you cohabitated with a person. I'm getting property, especially like for those of you who are going through like divorces and things like that. And remember I was saying like I'm picking up on like contracts and documents. Something about that. It's very interesting. So like I said, let me know if you're resonating in the comments, if this is your story. You know, of course, you know, take the messages as they resonate because everybody's going through different things. All right, let's get maybe 3 more shuffles. One thing about this deck, like there's small cards, and then there are also like a lot of cards, so it's like sometimes they're a little bit hard to shuffle. But this is a great deck though. Touches based on like literally everything possible. Hi, Cassidy. I'm happy that wow, first off, I'm so happy that you are getting out of that relationship and you're doing something so meaningful for yourself, your growth, and I'm happy that this is resonating and that I think this is going to allow for you to, you know, really, you know, work on, like we said, we talked about the phoenix, like rising from the ashes, and we had renewal. You know, I heard forged by fire. Like it took these circumstances to kind of forge a new person, if that makes any sense. We have scuba diver here in the bottom of the deck, going within observation, 0 point self examination, exploring the unconscious mind. In the void, desire to know, self reflection, disconnecting, deep thoughts, and subliminal. This is kind of going back to like that, like sense of almost like, well, we had an isolation card that showed up. It's giving me that, which is also kind of like, it's giving me like hermit vibes. Like it's going to take for you guys to be able to, you know, really focus on being on your own and doing things for sisters. We're doing it for ourselves and brothers too, you know, because some of you guys could be guys watching as well. I have a lot of female viewers, but I also have a lot of male viewers too. So I welcome everybody here, and you know we all go through different things. So you know, men and women alike. So or whatever you know identify as. This is an all-inclusive channel here. So you know whatever you know people are going through, everybody's story is their own unique story, and I want to make sure that I help as many of you guys as possible when it comes to your unique circumstances. Even when you know our circumstances are very different, they could be very much the same within our community here on this channel. So, you know, I can resonate even with some of these messages myself. You know, for me, it's more so past energy, but like I can say I can resonate. Like, I definitely dealt with some karmic relationships and abusive relationships and things like that. Had to close out those cycles, and sometimes I feel like I might still be slightly tied to certain old aspects of my old self, and I am you know I have been working on moving past those things, but sometimes they creep up on me. I'm not perfect. And you know, look, we have Black Widow here. Wow, holy shit. um Betrayal, warning, twisted, turncoat, cunning, danger, toxic situation or relationship, web of control, entrapment, unexpected attack, insidious, poisonous, and low vibration. So some of you guys were dealing with like a low vibrational situation or relationship, something really toxic. Um, whether it's a romantic one or you know it could even be family. For some of you it's giving me more romantic for the most part so far, but there's a lot of different energies happening, right? And something might happen within the next few weeks. Confirmation, because I just randomly got something that just popped up on my phone as I was about to say this. Excuse me. But it says in the next few weeks, the situation or event in question will develop or unfold within a matter of weeks. The number 8 might be significant to some of you guys for some reason. I'm not sure if it's like maybe like the month of August might be important, or you might be born on the 8th or something like that. Let me know if that resonates. Some of you might have like a life path number 8. I'm not sure, but something about that. I'm also getting like prosperity. Getting prosperity as well. If any of you, oh, my ear just started ringing when I said that one. Some of you might be expecting some type of payment in the next few weeks, like a settlement or something. Let me know if that resonates. Interesting. Wow. Wow. Cassidy, I'm so happy. Like, I feel like this is like your reading, girl. I love that name too. Cassidy is such a pretty name. Tell me more. Thank you. Mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Self-aware, seeing clearly, exactly. Ego, facing issues, self-assessment, self-improvement, insecure, make comparisons, reflection, obsessed, narcissistic, vain, self-love, and self-appreciation. This is giving me more so an energy of individuals right now who are doing a lot of inner work, right? Working on self. Remember, I talked about kind of like that glow up energy. Realizing, like, you know what, I want to take better care of myself, like for myself, not for somebody else. Like, I'm not trying to look good for another person and stuff like that. Like, I'm doing it for me and doing that deep inner work so that you can get to that higher level of self. Hi, Vincent. How are you? I've been well for the most part. A few little things here and there, a few hiccups, but just trying to keep on striving, keep on thriving. But I have never been to Ireland. No. I think I would love the beer there and some of the whiskeys. um, yeah, tell us more. Tell us more. I like this reading. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We have roses. Spirit's funny. I know you like to think your shit don't stink, but lean a little bit closer. See, roses really smell like ooh, 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 yeah. For those of you who are Outcast fans. Um, yeah, so we have roses here. Love, romance, affection, appreciation, devotion, fond, delighted, high emotional IQ, gives friendship, infatuated, enchanted, passion, fidelity, tender, yearning, and attached. I'm getting that this is like what you guys are trying to attract. Um, Especially with that like self-reflection, right? After you've been through a situation in which you didn't have that, right? And now I'm getting abandonment too. I don't even think that was on there, but I picked up on it just now. It's not, yeah, it's not on that other card, but I feel it, I hear it. Um, it's it's giving me that energy. Bottom of the deck we have constellation. It says, see, this is what I'm saying. Like what you're about to start attracting is something that's like it's written in the stars, if you will. Like, yeah, Pisces energy might be important for some of you. Let me know in the comments. Um, but yeah, it says network support, associates, gathered, meeting, socialized, organization, arrangement, a collection, exchanging data, influence in connection with a large amount or quantity. It's like it's giving me there's just something like when it comes to having like a support system, it's giving me having a person in your space who's going to really bring forth a sense of cohesion. Um, when it comes to romance, if romance is one of the things that are on the agenda for you when it comes to this reading, yeah, diamond. I feel like you're manifesting this. Creative force, faithfulness, value, perfection, brilliance, commitment, light, purity, esteem, unconquerable force, multidimensional, multifaceted, invis. I keep wanting to say invisible, but it's invisible. I mean, I can't get the word out. Invincible spiritual power. I don't know why I couldn't say it. Like that's so weird. I keep saying invisible, but maybe it's because there's like a higher power so connected to you guys at this time, and that's what's going to kind of be, pushing this along. Because I really can't get the word out. Like I know how to read, damn it. Like I know it says invincible here, but I kept saying invisible. I cannot get that word out for some reason. So it's like the fact that like if you were to replace that, it makes sense. Invisible spiritual power. There's something, in the cosmos, so to speak, that is kind of orchestrating all of these events to happen a certain way so that you can be prepared for what's coming next. Castle. It says pride, recognition, position, praise for achievements, ego, wealth, ancestry, antiquity, history, legacy, architecture, power, prestige, isolation. So isolation is here more than once now. The old guard and timeless. So it's giving me this energy of like your spirit guides, the most high, so on and so forth. They recognize all this hard work, right, that you've been putting into being a better version of yourself. And I'm also getting like, self love and self care too. Like self love and self care being so important right now for you guys, so that way you can, again, welcome in, new partnerships with the right people. Um, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I like this. This is really nice. Let's get two more from here. What we got? Family. Nice. Um, so we have loyalty, faithful, allegiance, parents, children, siblings, fidelity, commitment, trust, affection, support systems. Didn't I say something about support systems earlier? I sure enough did. Origins, tribe, dependable, sincere. I'm about to say secure, and kindred spirits. It's giving me like Four of Wands energy. So there's a sense of stability, right? Like if we were talking about like a tarot card, the Four of Wands represents all the things that we just saw there. And it definitely represents like the sense of stability, right? And strong foundations, very strong foundations. Hey, Kimmy, how are you? So it's giving me like you guys are working on that. I'm also getting for some of you, let's see what's on the bottom. Yeah, this is what I was about to pick up on before I even looked at this bottom card. It's like, things are not always what they seem, right? On paper. So for some of you, this is going to be very specific. This is not going to be for everybody, but for some of you who are resonating with this message so far, you might resonate also with the idea that you might have created like a dynamic with somebody that on the outside everything looked beautiful and perfect, and it was a facade, right? A mirage. It was not really what was happening. And yeah, see, look, you can't make this shit up even if you wanted to. Yeah, exactly. Because the optical, I mean, I don't have to read this whole card for you guys to understand where that's going, right? Um, Optical illusion, that's something that's, it's fake, right? It's a facade. And then on the top of the deck, we have corset, held together, boundaries, restriction, prim and proper, following rules, structured, buttoned up, perfect posture, holding it together, support, shapeshifter, and people pleaser. So some of you might resonate with the idea that you were doing something for your family, to keep things looking a certain way. Like let's say this is an example. This is not gonna resonate with everybody, but like let's say you stayed in a marriage or a relationship longer than you should have because of your kids, or because your family frowns upon like divorces and things like that. Like it's not what you wanted to stay in, but you stayed because you felt like you had to out of obligation, type of thing. I'm getting something like that. Well, you know, what's that phrase? The jig is up. Like, I'm not gonna stay in a situation or relationship or circumstance, whatever, that doesn't serve me just because everybody else is telling me I'm supposed to stay in that bullshit. No, I'm not doing it. Right? So some of you might resonate with that idea. Yeah, because we have middle of the deck here, blinders, victim mentality, confusion, tunnel vision, resists clarity, confirmation bias, restriction, narrow focus, echo chamber, denial. Yeah, you might have been in denial about this situation too. Oblivious, out of touch, hyper focus and concentration. You might have focused so much on what other people, like what they were telling you you're supposed to do, and oh, stay, stay in this relationship because you feel like you're, oh, stay because of the kids, stay because of, religion, like, no, like, I'm not about to sit here and, stay in a situation where I'm fucking miserable because of what other people are telling me that I should and shouldn't do. Like, that's ridiculous. No. Times have changed. Hi, Michael. How are you? Thank you for being here. And happy birthday, Kimmy. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate all of you guys for being here and tapping in. Yeah, so the thing is like you want that solid family dynamic, but not a fake ass version of it, if that makes any sense, And it's like I think you guys are realizing now, like I'd rather be on my own and by myself, isolate myself, you know, like I could do bad all by myself. Like why the hell am I gonna choose to be in a bullshit situation, getting mistreated and all that stuff, being unhappy for who? For what? No. You know, this is a different era. We're not in the 19 fucking 40s and 30s and shit where like, you know, and prior to that too, where divorce was like so taboo and like, oh, you know, it was like the worst thing ever, like if you got a divorce. Well, I'm not gonna sit here and keep getting my ass beat by my husband, or I'm not gonna sit here and get raped by my husband, or like, you know, I'm not, if you're a man, like I'm not gonna sit here and keep getting repeatedly mistreated by my wife, you know, like, you know, like what? Being treated like crap, you know, like you're paying all the bills and she won't even lay up with you at all. Like what? We haven't had sex in 6 months, but I'm supposed to stay? Like what? Like I've heard of these stories. Like I'm guys, one thing I hear, like I never want to just make it seem like I'm only for the women because men go through shit too. And like Lati just said, reciprocal relationships, right? Giving and receiving. Like you can't be in relationships that are not, you know, equal give and take. It cannot be one sided. It doesn't work. So it's like if it's one sided, it's gotta go. You know, it's never gonna be sustainable, and it's not good for yourself either, right? It's not good for your health. You know, we talked about good health, right? So if there's things that are preventing you from being, again, your best version of yourself, keeping you from being in a, you know, a happy place within your heart and your mind and your soul, right? Like you can't be in those situations anymore. You can't do it, right? It's not fair to you. It's not fair to anyone. And don't let there be kids involved. Forget that. You want your kids to sit there and fucking see that kind of behavior being repeated. That's how repeated patterns happen. I saw it in my own childhood. My parents staying together way longer than they should have. My mom, I'm happy she left when she did. Love my dad to death. I love my mama to death, but I'm very honest on here, very transparent. And it was not healthy. It was very, very, very toxic and dysfunctional. And I'm 40, officially 40 years old now, and I still deal with the ramifications of what that looks like for me. You know, so if this is your story, you know, I hope that this is making sense. I hope it's resonating. I hope it's helpful. All right, see, look at that. We got these two cards. Remember I was talking about like delays and setbacks? Here we go. Different deck now. Two cards that came out. We have Labyrinth, lost, delayed, complex, contemplate. It's complicated. Going inward, spiritual quest. I almost heard the word, excuse me, conquest. Deliberation, long way home. Going back to like that family dynamic stuff we were just talking about. Problem to solve, catch 22, a situation to sort out. So you might feel very lost, right? And it's like that, it doesn't make you feel very confident in the decisions and things that need to be made. It's giving me kind of like Two of Swords vibes. It's like it puts you in a stuck energy. We have cake, celebration, ceremony, party, gathering with friends and family, honor, remember, recognize, commemorate, graduation, anniversary, wedding, prom, birthdays, awards and ceremony. So it's interesting because both of these cards, like remember I was talking about the family card? It's four on there, and then it has a Leo symbol, so it's kind of giving like that same energy of like the Four of Wands. This card is kind of representing that too, with this Aries energy. So it's like there's something here that's worth celebrating, and family dynamics is definitely a big portion of, you know, whatever we're seeing here. And it's giving me like, you know, there's like this light at the end of the tunnel. Like there's this sense of recognition. There's a sense of I heard the word pride. There's a sense of pride involved when it comes to like what it is that you want to do. Like this would make you feel so proud if you could accomplish what it is that you've been wanting and longing for. But then there's this energy that keeps kind of sending you round and round in circles. We have roundabout, community, connections, new direction, keep it moving, controls the flow of information, solution, circular reasoning, fluid, many working parts, perfect timing, and redirect. Yeah, there's been a lot of sense of redirection when it comes to like where you're supposed to be going. what's supposed to be happening. For some of you, your own family and things like that could be, and friends and stuff like that could be what is contributing to a standstill, or at least feeling like you're going round and round in circles. Interesting. Let's get one more from here. Fairy tale. If I need a confirmation of if this is like a love reading, well, here it is. Fairy tale. Believe the impossible, daydreams, romantic ending, universal archetypes, hopeful, magic, unicorns and rainbows, aspire, happily ever after, fanciful, sorry, and stories we tell. Very, very, very interesting. Wow. I mean, there you have it, right? Yep. Train on the bottom of the deck. There's a song by the Doobie Brothers. What's it called? Long train riding or something. I can't remember the name of the title. Long train going or something like that. That's a good song. Some of you might be Doobie Brothers fans. It says, moving on, life's journey, new endeavor. Yep, exactly, moving on. Going away, one direction, on track, focus on time, keep going forward, going with the flow, inflexible, steady climb, and no resistance. So I'm kind of getting like, as you guys are working on all these different things, right, and moving past it, this is what's going to kind of like really put you in motion when it comes to seeing those changes happening. Because you're no longer resisting the changes, right? You know that these are things that need to happen in order to see what it is that you want to see, the changes you want to see in your life. Even if this is not romantic, it could be in many different areas of your life. Romance seems to be like the big thing here in the reading, but like you could still look at like the nuances that are like kind of buried beneath and behind the scenes, and you can see that there's other factors that play a role too, like that could just have a lot to do with like family dynamics and stuff like that. So again, letting me know if that resonates, it will be very, very helpful. We have my son is texting, he's funny. We have tools on the top of the deck, practical abilities, resources, has what it takes, application, build it, fix it, organization, help someone, task at hand, well prepared, equipment, get shit done, and masculinity. Some of you might be even like, if you're, a female, you might be resonating with the idea of, being like, you know what? I'm about to put my big boy drawers on and I'm about to like really take charge of my life. I'm getting like emperor vibes right now. Like, you know, getting shit done, being in more of a masculine kind of, mindset of like, no emotions being the thing to kind of dictate your actions. Like you're just like, fuck this, I'm doing it. I'm getting something like that. Dynamite. um Excitement, passion, action, suspense, destroy. Yeah, you're blowing shit up. You know what I mean? Power keg, fantastic, energetic, breakup, catalyst. I said that this would catapult you. It's kind of giving me the same vibe. Catalyst for change, explosive, short fuse, firecracker, blast, sudden, unexpected, and fast. So there's gonna be like fast, sudden changes because of this movement in your life. The things that you're doing like by choice, where you're like, you know what, I have to do what I have to do here to move forward. Um, so what I'm about to do now is I'm gonna read from because we are picking up on a lot of like love kind of energy. I'm gonna read from the singles and relationship oracle deck, which it's good because it's like it looks at love as a whole and things that might be causing blockages. So I really like this deck for that reason. So for this one, I'm only gonna get like 3 cards maybe. Um, yeah, so for some of you, one of the issues that you might resonate with is the idea of setting boundaries. We have boundaries here. You need to hold good boundaries so you don't feel violated. Bottom of the deck, we had unavailable. You are chasing someone unavailable, or you are the one who is running away. So You know, I'm getting like a runner chaser dynamic for some. I'm getting even possible, like, it doesn't say it here, but I'm picking up on possible, like, empath and narcissist, paradigm kind of energy. Um, Something along those lines for some reason. Again, that's not going to resonate with everybody. So just take the messages as they resonate. um, but yeah, setting healthy boundaries is so important, you know, because you don't want to be a doormat, right? So being a doormat, you know, in different relationships, especially romantically in your life, it's just going to cause a lot of issues. And it's like, it's just one of those things you don't want to, you know, set yourself up for failure for. And yeah, this can't, it can't be one of those situations that you allow yourself to be stuck in, right? All right, so a couple more shuffles. That's more than a couple, but all right. All right. Need rescuing. You are waiting for love to save you, but you must stop waiting and start looking. Wow. All right. And then there's like all these stars here. Remember, I was saying like there's a lot of things that are connected. So I'm getting the message I'm getting from this card is here on the bottom. Let me show you guys so you can see it. Um, Remember, we're talking about like something being like connected to source, spirit guides. My ear just started ringing when I said that. They're like, look, couple of things. You don't need rescuing, so to speak. Like somebody is not going to rescue you. You gotta rescue your goddamn self, right? I'm getting that. But I'm also getting like they are there to help you and guide you. So all the shit that's been happening, you know, it might not always feel like it's, you know, for your best, right? In the moments. But then you realize later, wow, like, you know, how they always say like things like, you know, rejection is God's protection and shit like that. I wholeheartedly believe that. So just understanding, like, you know, you don't need rescuing, you know, you can rescue your goddamn self. You know, get out of your own circumstances, right? Get out of your head when it comes to, you know, things like, you know, feeling like you need somebody. You don't. You might want somebody, but you don't need them. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between wanting and needing. And that's when it becomes codependency. We don't want that, right? You know, you need to be able to stand solid on your own feet and be fine all by yourself. And then that's when I feel like, you know, the most high, you know, allows for something positive in terms of this type of stuff to kind of come into your life. And that could be causing a blockage because it's like, okay, well, if you feel like you need a partner, you know what I mean? Like once you have your partner, that's one thing. Like, okay, I need you to make me feel like this is like a solid connection, because if I start feeling like this is not a solid connection, then your ass is out. You see what I'm saying? So that's different, you know. But like, if even before you have a connection with somebody, you're like, oh, I need a partner. I can't be alone. Da-da. No, honey. Like you need to be able to be by yourself. I was by myself for almost 3 goddamn years. And it was the best thing I could have did for myself. It really was. Because I used to just like I would say I was like somewhat of a serial dater at one point. Like I felt like I needed a partner. I would stay in relationships way longer than I should have because I felt like I needed somebody. Dumbest shit ever. Like I'm not trying to judge nobody. I'm judging myself right now. But it's like, you know, I stayed in, you know, connections way longer than I should have. And, you know, I'm talking about in some cases years. With people who did not treat me well. You know, treated me like absolute crap. What the hell was I with those people for? Like that was fucking silly. You know what I mean? Silly of me. Was that Denise Williams, I think? Um, for those of you who are music enthusiasts, I know my girl Ati, she might be on. Is that Denise Williams that sings that song, "Silly of Me"? I could be wrong about the singer, but and I know Terrell Hicks had redid that song in the 90s. She did a really nice job with it. But anywho, um, yeah, like you don't need to fucking be rescued. You got this. You know what I mean? Like you are fine all by yourself. So you know, this ain't no captain save the whole kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like, you are okay. So once you're able to establish that within yourself and have that sense of security, I'm kind of even getting like possibly like, for some of you might resonate with the idea of, um, your base chakra or your root chakra, feeling a little bit off. Get grounded. You know what I mean? Like grounding exercises and stuff might help with that. Feeling that sense of security and stability within yourself. Very important. I'm also getting a little bit of like solar plexus too, getting that sense of willpower and strength, confidence within yourself to be able to be good on your own. I'm getting a little bit of all of that. So again, let me know in the comments if this is resonating. Send some reactions. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button. All those things are very, very helpful. I saw this while I was shuffling. We have confusion. You don't know what you want, so you need clarity before you get involved. Exactly my point. Does that not fucking go back to what I kind of sort of was just saying? You see what I'm saying? It's like it causes all this damn confusion, and it's like, for what? And that's why like that inner work is so important, right? Because if you're not doing the inner work, you're gonna always feel fucking confused about what it is that these energies bring to the table, and then you end up again staying in situations or putting yourself in situations that don't serve you. You're miserable the whole fucking time, but yet you're still like there ain't no dick or pussy that damn good to be staying in some fucked up ass relationships. And I did just when I looked up and I said that it was 5555. Change needs to happen. Change needs to happen, and those changes will yield the right results because it's going to be allow for completion and closure to happen. So just saying, somebody needs to hear this for sure. Like I said, I went through that, so I get it. Trust. This is not judgment. This is us facing our realities and being able to see things for what it is, what it's worth. Okay. I am definitely real. Too damn real. Fear of cheating. Yeah, there we go. Not everybody cheats. You need to open your heart and trust your partner. Trust is definitely important in relationships. However, if a person is putting you in a state of confusion, right, that could cause you to feel confused and feel like there's going to be some cheating happening. So, right? It's like, why put yourself in a situation where you're constantly worried about that too? And then even then you have to question, why do I feel like this? Right? Because there's obviously a reason behind it. And to me there's like two different reasons. And one reason is because either somebody has been doing bullshit that puts you in a place of that sense of fear because they've done stuff that makes you feel insecure within the relationship. That's one. That's one. The other part is there's just your own inner insecurities that you have to work on. So sometimes those things can clash and come together. And it becomes a double whammy because a person that you're with can do stuff, some of their behaviors can prompt that response. This is where we get like trauma responses. There could be something that they did, even if it's unintentional, that might prompt your sense of insecurity, and now you still have to question, why do I have this fear of cheating? I hope that makes sense. Bottom of the deck, we have indecision. You are afraid to make a mistake, so you won't commit either way. So that might put you in a place where you're like, okay, well, if I'm this fearful of, my insecurities and or fear of cheating, so on and so forth, I might as well just stay freaking single, or I don't know what to do, right? So you're always have one foot in and one foot out. You might be one of those people who walk away from relationships before they even really start because of fear of these kind of things. I have been that person. So again, hopefully this is making sense. Let's get like one or two more from here. Excuse me. I didn't know where this reading was going to go. This is so interesting. Insecurities. So we have the fear of cheating. Now we have the confirmation of insecurities. You can't make this up even if you wanted to. Work on building your confidence and feeling safe in your relationship. Spirit ain't fucking playing. Did I not just say that? For those of you who have been watching the whole time. That's crazy. Being cold. I can say I've been this person. You seem unapproachable because you are aloof. Try to be more friendly. I have been that person where I'm like, ain't nobody about to sit there and fucking play me. I'd rather be by my goddamn self. And that part's fine, but it can be to a fault. Meaning, if you, again, have already deemed everybody as a bad person, a cheater, so on and so forth, and it's stemming from your insecurities, like you didn't even give this person a chance, that's not fair to anyone. And that's not right. Right? So it's like, being all cold and aloof and stuff because of because of your own insecurities. That's not healthy. And that's a maladaptive behavior and it's a trauma response. So let's get one more from here. This is so interesting. Like I said, I did not know where this reading was going to go. Like, holy smokes. And this, like, definitely resonates in the sense of things that I've personally faced myself because I've been this person before. So, you know, the only thing that I could give my own insight, about how I managed to deal with these things. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I don't still kind of feel those things from time to time, as I do. But the biggest thing is isolation, figuring yourself out. We have unavailable here, and we already saw this card, so there's more confirmation. Um, some of you guys might be the type that run away from relationships before they even really start, or run away from your problems and things like that, or chase after people who are like that. And it's like you have to, you know, you have no good ones on the bottom. That's a mental thing. There's someone out there for you. Don't let this false belief, I was going to say false notion, false belief make you miss out. Yeah, don't miss out on good opportunities because of either chasing after wrong people or just running away from people because of the fact that you don't want to be hurt and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to use your discernment. Take the lessons that you've already learned and apply them. That's the biggest thing that you can do. We have settling here. Don't stay with someone who isn't right for you just because it's safe. Exactly. Goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Goes back to what we were talking about earlier with this energy of, staying in situations longer than you should and stuff like that. All comes back full circle. So some of you guys might have already done that, and now that's put you in a place where you're hyper vigilant about saying, oh, well, I'm just gonna shut everything and everyone out. And that's not fair either. It's not fair to yourself, and it's not fair to other people who might have a genuine interest in you. And you don't want to miss out on opportunities that, present themselves that are actually positive ones, right? Yeah, see, middle of the day, everyone leaves. Choose a partner who can commit to you and let yourself commit to them. Exactly. Don't be afraid of commitment. Do not be afraid of commitment because there are good people out there. And, it's one of those, like, it's easier said than done kind of things because it's like, okay, well, I've been through so much and I get it. Trust, you know, but you don't want to, cut off people who didn't do anything to you just because of the fact that you've been hurt. That's not fair to anyone, including yourself, like I said. When I split the deck, we have, I'm using a new deck now. The Sword and the Rose. Clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, and power. Along with Paradise, happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness, oneness, enjoying each other. So it's really about getting clear about what it is that you really want. For those of you guys who have somebody maybe already in your energy or that you're interested in or you're dealing with or whatever, I'm gonna just pull maybe 2 or 3 cards, not 2 or 3, let's do like 3 or 4 from here, just to get an insight of what you need to know about that energy. For some of you, it could be more like a past thing because we do have like past energy showing up throughout this reading. But let's just see. Like, this will be about somebody new coming in. So let's get a little insight on that. And then for some bonus cards, I'm going to pull some career and life oracle too. And then some angel answers, and that'll be the end of this reading. We have ascending, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, and preparing for union. So it goes back to what we were talking about, right? This energy of you guys, a lot of you guys who are resonating with this reading, you know, working on that, like that glow up, right? That leveling up energy, moving past the things that no longer serve you. And it's going to allow for you to prepare for real love when it comes your way. I didn't know where this reading was going to go. Like, I was like picking up on possibly love, and I was also picking up on career and finance for some reason. But I'm definitely getting like this is pretty much a love reading. But it's like it's an interesting one because it's not about like a current person or anything like that. It's more about the love that you need to, exude and put within yourself in order to attract it, if that makes any sense. All right, so let's get maybe like 3 or 4 from here, and then we'll pull from a couple more decks, and that'll be the end. I wouldn't be shocked if Spirit be like, no, there's more. I got like one more message. They're good for that. All right, see, look, came out again, but it came out another card, the Sword and the Rose, which was about clarity. And it came out along with Coffin. Endings bring new beginnings, exactly. Growth, change, liberation, and transition. So there had to be that major ending. You realized things for what it was worth, and you had to remove yourself from that circumstance. And I definitely was picking up on a narcissist kind of vibe before. We have the golden mirror here on the bottom. It says self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, and love bombing. So you had to see things for what it really was in a past relationship. I just saw a mask and I'm going to take it. Yep, mask. Not showing true feelings, hide, personify, pretend, delude, and gaslighting. So, dealt with that, 411. There's 4 people in here and 11 likes. Yeah, that's about information, right? Information being revealed, seeing things for what it really is. Once that mask drops, you saw that person for exactly who they were. You had to do what you had to do. Let's get 2 more from here. I asked for 2 and they gave me exactly 2. I still might be greedy and pull 1 more card after this one. I count this as 1 card. We have engagement ring. Engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, and union. Now, I did mention earlier that for some, this is pertaining to like, a very high level commitment. For some of you, could have been a marriage, so on and so forth. So we have engagement ring there. So some of you guys might have had that type of union with somebody, but it was a karmic relationship that you were meant to learn some lessons from. It says fleeting, triggers, turmoil, resentment, lessons, letting go, and loving you. Wow. How is that for some damn clarity? 1 more from here, Spirit. Yeah, there was a karmic relationship, higher level commitment with somebody that you had to remove yourself from because you saw things for what it was, and that person was not good for you. And this is allowing for you to work on yourself. And in the process of working on yourself, you're going to allow for something bigger and better to come towards you in terms of love. We have passion here. Insane chemistry, like each other equally, and having fun. So the new person that's about to come into your life, or who might be currently here, even though like that past energy is still lingering for some, there's a lot of passion there. They might be a fire sign, but it's very intense, and it's a fun dynamic. You guys actually really are going to enjoy each other, and you're realizing this is what it was supposed to be like the whole time. So your past relationships where you dealt with all those other fucked up dynamics, now you're like, this is what I've wanted, this is what I really signed up for. Yeah. And it happened after you dealt with like a narcissist. We have heart with a key, welcoming love, exactly, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together, and perfect. This is gonna be a match. This is going to be a really good match with you and this person. And there's going to be a lot of great things that are going to come from it. The sex is going to be one of those things. It's going to be on fire. It's going to be really nice. Yeah, and this is after, again, dealing with like a person who, was like, I'm getting like that runner chaser dynamic, narcissistic paradigm, and all that stuff. Like all of those things that, we're trying to avoid when it comes to relationships. Yeah. That's what I'm picking up on there. All right, so a couple of bonus cards for you guys from the career and life oracle deck. When I split the deck, okay, got some pretty important messages here already. Divine forces are showing you. Yep, exactly. This is a career deck, and we're still getting that message, right? Divine forces are showing you the way to go. You are discovering another piece of your destiny and your purpose in life. Wow, along with signs. You are putting together pieces of a puzzle from signs you are getting. Pay attention to the coincidences you experience. Again, going back to, this energy of, you've been divinely guided, right? Everything is like divinely orchestrated, right? It's strategy. Spirit has been pushing and pulling this energy to happen this way for a reason. So that push and pull that you keep feeling in different parts of your life and stuff like that. Ren, what are you doing? um yeah, that energy that you guys are feeling in different areas of your life, whether it's love, career, finance, things like that, feeling like you need to move, because I was feeling like that energy earlier too, because we kept seeing like trains and planes. Everybody's going through different things, but um a lot of signs and synchronicities that are pointing to you guys moving forward in a new direction, and it all being purposely done that way by the Most High, your spirit guide, so on and so forth. Excuse me. Felt like a tickle in my throat. But yeah, it's like it's all divinely orchestrated to be this way. Bottom of the deck, we have investment. Invest in your education and make some big plans for the future. Take calculated risks, but save something to fall back on. So, definitely about, again, like this energy of strategizing, putting your time and effort and money and things like that into the right things, and just paying attention, right? Allowing yourself to really do your research and stuff on certain things. Like, for instance, if this is about like a move, right, for some of you, like if this is about a move, for instance, what does that look like for you? Like, really allow yourself to what's the word I'm looking for, visualize what it is that you want to see wherever you move. That seems really important. That's a message, and I'm gonna go with it, because we didn't really pick up on that at first, but for some reason Spirit wants me to close out with this. If you guys have been thinking about moving somewhere, especially like out of your own like state that you currently live in or whatever, like really visualize what it is that you want when you move. If you want it to be warm, if you want beaches, if you want, more like farm life, like whatever it is that you want. I'm seeing a whole bunch of different things. Um, One thing that I just saw is like somewhere like kind of down south, like where like the houses are really spaced apart, but like a really big ass house, a lot of land, and like one of those like enclosed porches, like with the rocking chairs. I kind of want that life for myself. I said that to my boyfriend earlier. I was like, babe, when we get our home, I want that. I said that earlier today. But I'm seeing something like that for you guys too. Like, you guys might really be like, trying to figure out where it is that you want to go. What do you want it to look like? How you want it to feel? Like, think about that. How you want it to smell? Like, everything. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to smell like the you know the salt water? Like if you're living by a beach. Like, very interesting. Okay. Very, very interesting. So Spirit wanted me to put that out there. Let's get like 3 maybe from here. Innovation. You will need to come up with new strategies. We just talked about strategies to keep your plans in motion. Old ways are outdated. Exactly. Invent, create, and test ideas. Yes, 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 yes. Wow. And sorry, friends, if I haven't responded to some of your messages, because I see messages coming in, but like I'm really like locked in on the reading right now, so I haven't really seen your messages. But I might scroll up before I close it out, just to see what you guys were talking about. So my apologies. Ooh, I like this. New life. You may get a fresh start or be called to bring a new perspective to your old job. You may also get a tempting job offer or a new place. See, we just talked about that. I'm telling you, Spirit ain't playing with y'all. And I mean, you know what's funny? Before I started this reading, like I was like really trying to figure out what I felt drawn to reading about. I just kind of let Spirit kind of guide me in terms of what cards I picked up. And I went from there. So I didn't have like a set idea, oh, this is gonna be a love reading or this is gonna be about career and finance. But like the decks that were picked out, which I used all the ones that I felt drawn to. It's just funny how they're all kind of like at the end, it's all kind of coming full circle. And even though this is like a career and finance one, and the other ones were like love decks and stuff like that, like there's a lot of this energy that's like all encompassing, and it's like it was meant to come out like this. So like, look, bottom of the deck, the future. Plan for the future while living in the present. You are always supported by spirit. Exactly. Your psychic abilities can also bring you prosperity. So some of you guys might be spiritual as well, and they want you to take like your gifts and talents and do something with them. I'm getting a lot of different messages here. um so let's get one or two more from here, and then we'll read from one last deck, I think. And that will be probably the angel answers, unless spirit guides me to another deck prior to that. Ending, yeah, exactly. You may leave a position or be terminated. However, there's always a new opportunity ahead. You may change careers entirely. So for some of you, if this is like more like a career thing, they're letting you know, like, these endings bring new beginnings, and something great is going to come from that. It's going to bring you a new life. If it's not about career per se, we did see that energy still regardless come up. And it's like there are these endings that are prompting you to shift and change and grow. So no matter what way you slice it, there's something beautiful happening here. And I heard creation, like you're creating, this new version of yourself, a life that, hey, what's up, girl? My sister. Uh, so many sisters in the building, so many people who I love and care for and adore so very much. Um, and like I said, I'm always grateful for you guys for popping in. Um, yeah, we have prickly situation here. You need both tact and diplomacy to reach your goals. The struggle is worth the prize. Work around the issue and use a gentle touch. Hi, Ren. What were you doing over there? You were being really weird. Did you see something or something? Wouldn't be the first time. You want to say hi? You want to say hi to the audience? Ren says hello. Hi, Mama. You can hang out with me here. All right, so let's see. Let's get one more from here. Ren wants to hang out with her mama. All right, and trapped. Huh, would you look at that? Spiders. Let me know if you guys have been seeing a lot of spiders. Because we have you feel stuck in your current situation, but you do not have. But you do have options. Look for another job while keeping the one you have for now. But then we also had this. These cards are damn near the same, just different decks, right? If you guys can see that. Two different decks. So there's definitely this energy of feeling like confined in your circumstances and trying to figure out how to get out. So whatever those circumstances are, they're just letting you know like things will get better. And it's just about removing yourself from low vibrational circumstances that don't serve you. We have unfolding. Now, how ironic is that? Because I want to say that's in my title for this because I wasn't sure what I wanted to name it. So I just kind of named it whatever came to my mind. And I did say what's unfolding, and look what's here as one of the last cards to close out. On the bottom of the deck, we have unfolding. It says access to greater prosperity is opening up for you slowly. Yes, slow and steady wins the race, guys. You are growing as you learn more and keep expanding. So you're learning through your experiences, through your circumstances, whether it's in terms of career and finance, or if it's love. It doesn't matter what area really, but that message is still prevalent and prominent here. Journey is a part of the journey. Some of you guys might have some type of ties to Egypt. Let me know if that resonates, or you just like Egyptian like history and stuff like that. You may move to a new place for work or travel for work. Exploring the world gives you the experience you need to succeed. Hmm, interesting. Let me know if any of you guys like that's really hitting. Let me know if that resonates. Like some of you might be Egyptian. Interesting. We have relationships. It's in the reverse in the middle of the deck though. Business partners, love, office affairs, and communication with coworkers are highlighted now. Make choices with extreme care. It's in the reverse for a reason. Because again, we're going back to this idea, right? This energy of cutting off ties. Certain relationships just are not meant to help you at this point in your life. That means you need to move on from those relationships and whatever that looks like for you. So if it's leaving a job, leaving a partner, moving on from friends or family, really doesn't matter. Whatever area that it applies to, take it as it resonates and leave the rest behind. But the one big thing here is that Spirit definitely is letting you guys know and putting a lot of emphasis on it that there are certain connections in your life and things that you've been experiencing that unless you want to stay in your circumstances and be stuck, you have to remove yourself. You know, you have to remove yourself from the chains that bind you. You have to reconsider what these things look like in your life. All right, Spirit. So let's get maybe like 3 or 4 cards to close out the reading, and then I think that will be it. I think. Let's see. What time is it anyway? It's early. All right. So it's almost 8 o'clock. Oh, side note, friends. Someone broke into my car again. For those of you who live here in the States, you might be aware of this trend apparently that's like on TikTok and stuff. Hey, Aaron, how are you? There's this trend on TikTok where people have been breaking into certain makes and models of Hyundai and Kia cars. They're called Kia Boys. And yeah, so they've been like posting like videos of how to break into these kind of cars and like steal them. So my car got broken into about a month ago. They broke my window, but they only took like merchandise out of my car because my stupid ass decided that it was a good idea to leave merchandise in the car. I didn't think anybody was gonna take it though, because the street for the most part is usually okay. But nope, they broke my window, took my shit, and then I had to repair the window because my insurance sucks ass. And then they did the shit again. Hey Mohammed, how are you? Yeah, they did it again, but this time they tried to take the car, but they couldn't take it because I guess I have like the mechanism on there that prevents it from being stolen. But now I still have to repair my window again and whatever stuff they did to the hardware of my car as well. It's drivable, but I'm just like, really? Really? I'm bringing this up because, well, one, Spirit might have wanted me to tell you guys that because if any of you guys have those kind of cars, just be on the lookout. Keep a monitor on your cars, like at nighttime. Spirit wanted me to say that. And also I was bringing it up because my boyfriend's gonna help me patch up my window for now until I could get the window fixed because I can't afford another almost $500 again. Because like I said, I'll have to pay it through my insurance, but I have such a high deductible that at this point I must well just pay out of pocket and not go through my insurance. Fuck that shit. So my premiums could go up. No, thank you. It's fucking annoying. So with all that said, friends, remain positive. Yeah, remain positive through our circumstances, right? Like you guys can probably hopefully see that I feel pretty giddy. I'm in a pretty good mood considering the fact that I have a lot of stuff going on. I share a lot of my life here on this channel about the things that I have been dealing with and like health related things, stuff with my family, so on and so forth. I'm very, very, open on here. This is a community, and I feel like me as a reader, especially if I'm trying to help people, I need to be transparent. So I am very, very inviting in that way, and I do share things on here that are personal. So we all have different things that we have you know going on in our lives, and it's just at this time, it's important for us to remain optimistic. We have a new year getting ready to come in, and this year was a hard one for a lot of people, and the reason why is because we were releasing a lot of karmic debts and things like that, and paying it. And now we're paying it forward, right? We are closing out those old cycles and preparing for this new year to come in. And with that said, and I almost did that kind of reading. I was like contemplating. I was like, should I do like what can we expect in the new year? But I was like, let's just see what spirit guides me to do. So I ended up doing this instead. But it's kind of piggybacking on that idea that I did have of, I wonder what the new year is going to have for a lot of us. And I mean, of course, everybody's going to have, different outcomes and whatnot. But yeah, look, perfect timing, right? Perfect timing, you know. I was talking about divine timing and things happening in, divine order, things being divinely orchestrated to happen a certain way, right? Let's practice some forgiveness in the process, right? Through all of it, because sometimes we have to forgive ourselves and we have to forgive others, not for them but for ourselves, to be able to move past the things that might have happened, and those triggers and things like that. Ironically, when I look up um share a quick story about that too. 12 people and 14 likes. 12/14 is actually my ex's birthday, and that would be one of the karmic relationships that I had in my life that really catapulted me into being the version of myself that I've worked really hard on becoming. Do I still feel like I am falling short there? Absolutely. I have a lot of work to do for sure. um, but I'm gonna get there, by remaining optimistic and being able to take accountability as well. So this is the perfect time for us to be able to look deeper into self and again, forgive ourselves for the things that we have allowed, the things that we've done that haven't been for our highest good. Don't beat ourselves up, and don't sell ourselves short either. um Reconsider is here again. So really sitting down and doing a lot of that deeper inner work, and asking ourselves those hard questions about what it is that we really truly want and how do we get there. And there might have to be some reconsiderations taken in order to get there, right? But the situation will improve. Things will get better. One more from here, Spirit. It's just a matter of us being able to really recognize these parts of ourselves that sometimes we choose not to pay the closest attention to. We sweep it under the rug, like, oh, it's okay, and it's like, is it though? you know um so we have to really do that inner work that we were talking about earlier. It's a part of our growth. It's a part of our overall well-being. So I'm getting like spiritual health, mental health, physical health. Ask for help from others is here, and look for a sign. Came out together. It's kind of giving me like prayer and meditation. Being able to look to source. If you believe in the power of prayer, I do. um and ask the Most High, whatever you believe in, for signs and synchronicities, to help guide us and navigate us right along the way. I'm also getting that there might be people who come into your life who are meant to be like helpers. They might come in different forms. So obviously, you guys who are watching, you're into tarot, right? So either you're readers yourselves, or you just happen to watch this like as a hobby or whatever. But there could be messages within certain readings with certain readers that those people are put on your path for a reason. And you're meant to see a reading or book a reading with somebody. Some of you might resonate with the idea of going to counseling. I feel like angels come in so many different forms, and um, there's times where like, I'm not trying to like put myself on a pedestal or anything, but there are times where me as an empath and stuff like that, I can feel people's energy all the time. It's very exhausting sometimes. I'm like, oh why? But God gave me this gift for a reason, and I can be in a room and I can feel and see when someone's going through something really hard. And there's times where I have to deliver a message. I have to deliver it in a way that's very tactful and not creepy, because they'll look at me like, what the fuck's wrong with this bitch? Or they come to me and they're just like, there's something about your spirit that's drawing me to you right now, and I need X, Y, and Z. I need advice, or I need to spill my guts or whatever. And I'm there for that person. And there's been times where random people on the street are like, I don't know what it is about you, but like your energy is so like, it feels positive. I need a hug. And I'm just like, okay, here's a hug. You know what I mean? Like, not, and it's, to me, it's not creepy at all, because, it's just something I know that, I'm meant to do. I have what I guess what people would consider like a healing touch. So, like, my students, for instance, for those of you who know, I work with kids. And, there's times where students, they request me, even from other classrooms, like, I want Michelle, blah 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 blah. And they, hey, Michelle, in Amanda's room, go for Michelle. um my friend in room blah 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 really would love to see you. Are you busy? Can you come by? And it's like, I'm like, oh, well, I'm kind of in the middle of a lesson right now, but okay, I guess I could, I can go help that person. You know what I mean? Like, or kid, I work with kids with special needs, so they might be in a restraint, or restraint, and then, like, they might just, need a comforting, presence in that moment, and then I come in, and now all of a sudden that kid is perfectly fine, like as if they were not just in a hold for 10 minutes. Like, it's very, very interesting, and I feel like it's one of those each one teach one kind of things. Like, some of you guys might resonate with the idea that you also possess a very similar kind of energy where, it's meant to help others, and it's a successful thing. This is a part of, who you are. This is part of what you do. um and again, there might be just people in your energy that, are going to help you see that within yourself, or just in general feel that type of energy. So no need to worry. Things are going to look up and get more information. So I mentioned earlier that some of you guys might have to do some type of research for something. So, if there's something that you guys been really needing to like look into, this is the time to do it. So you're being called to do that. So I do feel drawn to one more deck, and then this will officially be the end of the reading. So when I split this deck, this is the Light Seers deck. This, or sorry, not the Light Seers deck. This is the which deck is this? Star Seeds. Sorry, Star Seeds deck. Inner Earth. You will look at that. You can't make this shit up. You will survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Come on now. This is just for me splitting the deck. Like, something drew me to this deck. It was just like sitting here on the floor. This was not a part of my setup at all. I did not expect to read from these. And something pulled me in. I'm telling you. Surrender to the sweetness. Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. Taking the circumstances that you've been through and understanding that, you can find the brighter side of all the situations, no matter how hard those situations might seem at the time. All right, so let's get like maybe three cards from here. And for real, this time I'm gonna close out the reading. Plus I'm hungry. I need to eat. So yeah, and patch up this damn window. Fucking assholes. But yeah. Couple more shuffles. All right, thank you, Spirit. All right, lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything aligned must go. That is one of my favorite things to say. Anything unaligned must go. You're seeing past the veil, right? You're starting to realize and see that, there are things that, you might not have always been able to see clearly through, and now you're starting to see things for exactly what it is. Remember, we're talking about like masks falling off, right? People like being presented as who they truly are and not what you want them to be, so on and so forth. I'm getting like that kind of thing. You guys have been doing like that inner work. It's giving me like a little inner philosopher. You know what I mean? It's like, kind of like, but why? You know what I mean? Like just questioning everything. Like they do that like a little kid, right? When they're about like 3 years old and they just question everything. Like, but why, mommy? Why, daddy? It's like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? It's like you might be feeling like that a little bit. Like I just like a little kid who just keeps asking why. And like little kids are like little philosophers. It's like they're constantly asking questions and trying to understand things, understand the world around them. So you might be trying to do that too. And the things that aren't making any sense, you're like, okay, this is bullshit and it has to go. No, thank you. Distancing yourself from those things. All right, let's get, like I said, about 3 cards from here to close out. And that will be the end. I'm grateful for you guys for being here. Those of you who tapped in at any portion of this reading at all, and those of you who stayed, I'm super grateful. We have baby steps here. It says action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. Yeah, sometimes you don't know where you're going. It's giving me like the fool vibes. Like you don't necessarily know what the hell's gonna happen, but you're being called into action. You're being called to do certain things because spirit is guiding you and pushing you in that direction. It might not even make sense yet, but it will. And it's not going to be until you actually make those steps and go towards what it is that you're being called to do that you'll be like, oh, now it all fucking makes sense. I just got like a quick little message like in my mind's eye. It's like, have you ever like, you're going somewhere, right? You go in like your normal route or something like that, and all of a sudden something just tells you, maybe I should leave a little bit earlier today, or maybe I should go a different way. And then you find out like there's like a major car crash or something like that, or like there's a major traffic jam or something like that you would not have avoided otherwise if you didn't follow your gut in that moment and say, maybe I should do things differently today. And it's like, that's kind of an example. It's like, in that moment it doesn't make sense, but when it does make sense, you're gonna be like, okay. It's gonna be like this clarity of why you were guided to do something differently and move in a different direction. Let's get a couple more. What we got? You got the love, Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. Wow, a lot of the stuff that we already talked about, right? We talked about codependency. We talked about setting those boundaries. And I'm getting, a lot of this starts from within, being able to understand like that self-love is the most important thing. And I picked up on that way early in the reading. I was like, even if this is not about actual romance for some of you, it's also about just that inner love and being able to set boundaries, healthy boundaries with people and situations in your life, so that way you don't keep getting the shitty end of the stick. You've been through enough already. Why keep putting yourself through it? Why stay in situations and circumstances that don't serve you, right? Don't stay in situations that don't serve you, because what this spirit say, it's time to reconsider those circumstances and those relationships. And it starts from within. One more. Empathic starseed, exactly. Energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. There's emphasis on this because this technically came out in the reverse. They do not want you guys holding on to the energy of other people and other people's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, their bullshit is not yours, right? It's not your load to carry. It's not your burden to bear. So just be mindful of the energy that you take on from other people. Make sure you're doing your spiritual cleanses and things like that. I need to work on that. I'm not that great at it, to be honest. But I did say something about your sense of spiritual health and well-being. So making sure you're doing your spiritual maintenance, for those of you who resonate with that idea of being super spiritual people, especially if you're an empath. And it's like, again, that energy of holding on to other people's energies and stuff like that. Like, you gotta be very mindful of the energy that you let into your space. For those of you, this is very specific. For those of you who do like kind of what I do, like readers and things like that, energy healers and any of that type of stuff, there's a big emphasis on that as well, because if you keep those doors open to other people's energies, you have to make sure you close those doors. You gotta make sure that your energetic field is strong and impenetrable. um, put that bubble around yourself, that energetic bubble. Like I said, I need to work on that personally because I do struggle with that. And Spirit wanted me to make sure I made made that very clear to say that. So let me know if that resonates. Bottom of the deck we have Breath of the Cosmos. My will to my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe, understanding that you're in cahoots with the universe, right? You work together as a team. So when if you you're working on manifestations, right, and you're speaking things into existence and whatnot, when you really feel it and truly believe it, and you connect with spirit, you connect with source, you connect with the universe, that's when you start to see a lot of shit happen. For those of you who are, for instance, I bring them up on here all the time, but I'm gonna bring them up again. Michael Jackson. Right before I watched, or not right before I watched, right before I started this video, I was bullshitting around on I think it was Instagram, and it was a clip from like the Thriller uh 40-year thing or whatever. It was like a video that came out a while, like a movie that came out like a while back or whatever, like 2 or 3 years ago. And in the movie, there's a clip of him talking about how he would just keep on looking in the mirror, and he would keep on using affirmations. He said, "I'm gonna have the greatest selling album of all time," and he would not, like, he would keep on repeating it. He would look at himself in the mirror in his own eyes until he believed it fully, and he would not accept anything else. He would not accept anything less than. And he was like, I had to make sure everything was perfect to my standards, not the standard of the other people around me and stuff like that. It had to be to my standards, what I wanted. And he manifested that shit. Still the greatest selling album of all time. There's a whole over 100 million albums of that sold worldwide. Albums just over 40 years old. Like, no one's ever gonna top that, ever. Even with streaming, like, it's just never gonna happen. He literally made it happen. He created history. Or not created, but he made history. No pun intended, for those of you who are Michael Jackson fans. But anywho, so again, when you're manifesting, being able to really, really, use the power of, affirmations and things like that, and truly believe it, right? There's also like the law of Lati, if you're still here, help me out. Law of assumption, the law of assumption. Like, everybody knows about the law of attraction, which is like manifestations and stuff, but like the law of assumption is a little bit different, because it's basically assuming that you already have it, right? It's not like, just saying, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire one day. Like, it's different. You know what I mean? Saying I will be a millionaire one day, and like, or I am a millionaire already. Like, having that, like, that little shift in just the wording, it changes a lot of things. Yep, I am as versus I will, right? I like that. Thank you, Lati. Speaking of which, you guys need to check my girl out. Tears and Wheat Tarot Show, aka Lati. Check her out. And Aya Inspired Tarot. Check her out as well. Those are my girls right there. Those are people who I go to for readings. So, just saying. My girl Allie, Phoenix High Priestess, because she changed her name. I have to keep on remembering. Check her out as well. All right. So, top of the deck, we have You Are Not For Everyone. Exactly. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Like, what if for those of you who know what your north node is, like, look into that. Look into what your north node is and what it means, right? Like, for instance, my north node is in Taurus. And when I looked over, I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. Like, it's like people who are like philosophers and like, the arts and stuff like that, but they're also helpers and healers. I'm like, oh, wow. That, and even my life path number is number 3, and very similar energy to that too. And it's like, wow, I'm like, wow, like now I kind of understand, like, for those of you who are into like numerology and stuff like that, it makes sense. So you might want to look into it and see what your north node is in terms of your chart, your birth chart. Middle of the deck, we have Earth School, life lessons. Yep, exactly. Soul growth, study, and higher learning. How is that for full circle, guys? It all just comes back to everything is about these life lessons and closing out those cycles and becoming biggest, best version of who you are. Wow, this reading went way longer than expected. I thought it was going to be on for like an hour. But Spirit had something to say, and I had to deliver this message, and I'm happy I did because this was a good one. So, again, for those of you who are new to the channel, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, like all that stuff, help support the channel. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. And the year's almost up, so it'd be really nice to get there. And for those of you who've been rocking with your girl already, thank you for the continued support. I'm so grateful for you guys for popping in, even if it was just for a moment, or if you came in late, whatever the case. I'm grateful and I'm very, very thankful. So, with all that said, I love y'all. Today is Monday. I might pop in again before Christmas, or maybe on Christmas Day. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. But until next time, my loves, you guys have a great rest of your night. And yeah, to make sure you take care of yourself, take heed to these messages in this reading, because there are some great things coming in for you guys as you work on yourselves. So keep up the great work. Spirit is definitely giving you a pat on the back and saying you guys are doing the damn thing. So just keep on doing exactly what you've been doing and then some. And you will see a lot of changes happening, okay? So until next time, I love y'all. Mwah.